The big challenge with overuse injuries isn't always the total amount of exercise you're doing. It's also how quickly you change. And so, the big risk is for athletes that have finished a season, if they take a few weeks off to rest and recover and then jump right back into full-time training for the Olympics, then we get more concerned. But again, it's always a balance of we don't want to rest them too much to get them out of shape and then risking injury from not being physically fit enough to prepare. And so it's always a balance of really, talking with the athletes, seeing how their body's feeling, making sure, if they practice 5 days in a row, if they are feeling a little more sore, maybe giving them an extra day off or a little extra rest before kind of ramping them back up for training.
It's important that these athletes sort of come out of the Olympics, particularly the ones that have to continue to play, at least give themselves some time off. So the good news for tennis players, for instance, is that the tennis players you're talking about are clearly sort of the best in the world, and that's why they're representing their countries. Typically at that level, they have the ability to pick and choose their schedule short of the major tournaments, so they can take an extra week or two off, maybe skip a warm-up event that they would typically play before something like the US Open, and almost use the training that they did during the Olympics as their warm-up. So they can tailor their schedule a little. Other sports, team sports, you have a little less say over that, and maybe the coaches have to be cognizant that some of the players have been playing at the highest level for the last 2 weeks and needed some extra time off, need an extra day of rest before going back out there to play.
The male basketball players do tend to have off time in the summers, but they're doing their intense training during the summers. They're doing what they need to do in order to get their skill set and their fitness better for the next season. So there's no off season per se in these professional athletes. And the women's basketball players, that's different. They actually play year round. So I'm one of the team physicians for the New York Liberty. Our players go overseas in their off season. So from the fall to the spring, they're playing overseas, and then they come back and play the WNBA season, which is in the season. So the Olympics actually fall in the middle of the usual WNBA season. So they're kind of right in their peak at the time of the Olympics for the women's players.